Are you tired of losing to the top meta decks? Cali Maze here, and I'm here to interest you in some budget Yu-Gi-Oh decks. Time after time again, players just lose to the most outlandish, most expensive things that no one can afford. But I'm here to tell you that you don't always have to play the most expensive decks.
Hi guys, Top Deck TJ here, and I've been going X3 at locals. But since Cali's giving me these decks, I've only been going X2.
Yo! Sell the damn product!
I've only been going X1.
You've heard it here first, budget players. Decrease the losses on your Yu-Gi-Oh deck by listening to TheCaliEffect, King of Games, and this budget tier list that'll be coming with you shortly. Go ahead and get your Yu-Gi-Oh budget decks for an easy lifetime installment of all of your money. Your wife may not approve, but your Yu-Gi-Oh wins will.
Cali is not responsible for any loss of value. Cards, effects, and memes are sent separately and in different packages. If you lose with your decks, either you've been scammed or just not found the deck that gave you the win. Cali is a paid professional actor and all stunts are under safe surroundings and should not be performed. Also, hide from jacks.
Fees may apply. Shipping and handling may not include it. What's going on with ya, big dog? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day phenomenal. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. Today, big dog, I am going to be incorporating that broke boy struggle. Everybody broke, especially when them bills come around. I'm going to be giving you guys a tier list on what I think are the best budget Yu-Gi-Oh decks post Duelist Nexus. It's going to be really, really fun, and I have 5 different categories here. Oh my Ra. The first category is Oh my Ra. It's basically what happens when you see something really, really big or small. That might be what my ex told me at night, but she for the street, she's seen everybody. So, I mean, somebody got to be bigger or smaller, hopefully. There's then next budget. Takes a really good pilot and experimental. I don't think that any of these budget decks are necessarily bad per se, but the lower you get on this list, the harder it is to be able to get accomplishments with them. Then everybody's favorite big dog. Just OxyClean a better budget. I'm not saying you dirty or anything for playing these decks, but they gonna be really, really hard, like getting some OxyClean nowadays. So the criteria of this budget tier list is gonna be like this mac and cheese that Bean Bean made. Jack, you better not put me in here too. Oh, you want some? The budget restrictions that I'm posting on this tier list is going to be a little less strict than my budget video that I made earlier. Go ahead and check that out if you want a strict $100 budget. And I'm also going to be taking into consideration on how much more powerful these decks are the more money you put into it. Lastly, of course, we're going to talk about the strength of these budget decks moving into the meta post Duelist Nexus. Let's go ahead and start off with Altergeist. Now, I know that I said that Altergeist Melwisp is a crazy good looking Yu-Gi-Oh card, but remember my rule, boys, he doesn't have a tail. Overall though, after more testing with this deck, I have to say the experimental for the meta tier list was a little bit too low. I think that this deck it's a really, really good budget deck. The new Altergeist cards do introduce combo, but don't let Altergeist forget what it is, a trap Yu-Gi-Oh deck. If anything, it actually solves the problem of having too many normal summons in your deck while getting you negations, preventing your opponent from wiping your trap cards. Plus, if this is the mac and cheese tier list, them little mamas look like they can cook. I'm just saying, if she wasn't born Southern or the Mason-Dixie line, then she can't make no mac and cheese. Don't make none for me. I don't think Black Wings are a bad Yu-Gi-Oh deck whatsoever, but I would have to put them in experimental. The reason why is because post-Duelist Nexus, so many budget decks got better, but not Black Wings. In our last tier list, we had it that takes a really good pilot. Currently, I think that there are probably better combo decks, but maybe not any better burn decks. This deck? Yeah, it's a good burn deck. Shao Tucker's favorite Yu-Gi-Oh deck. This could be Cali's scope, and I would love to see where these decks rank a month later when we redo a budget tier list. But right now, oh my Ra! I think that the Chimera deck itself is ridiculous. The entire deck can be built on about $50, and that's even right now as I talk with pre-sale prices going on. You can play it with a little bit of branding, you can upgrade it with cast your offenders as their disruptions and get you fusion pieces. My God, this deck's good. Kind of like that macaroni and cheese I can't eat right now because I'm doing a video. We had some high ults for Crystal Beast. Yeah. Unfortunately, Crystal Beast also did not get better with this set. I would personally say right now, if you're trying to be the best of the best, put the Crystal Beast deck to the side for right now. You can come back to it later. It might be a little bit stronger. In my meta tier list, I said that Dark World had mad potential. In the budget tier list, I think that this is one of the better budget decks. The new spell card Dark Corridor flat out just makes this deck better. That 3 structure decks and fix up your extra deck a little bit, it's an amazing deck. You just gotta watch out for cards like Joel and Lockbird. My guy, Joel and Lockbird is expected to be everywhere like crippling depression. Damn. Unfortunately, dinos are like crippling depression. There's really no medicine for it. I want to put it in OxyClean on a budget, but I think it's experimental. When dinos pop off, they absolutely win the game. Everyone knows this. The problem is popping off. Dinosaurs are like you in your teenage years when it came to taking out the trash. Hell, dinosaurs are like you right now when it comes to taking out the trash. Inconsistent as all hell. My guy, when it's full, take the trash out. I ain't gonna cap. I gotta take out the trash right now. Ironically, taking out the trash is something that Dogmatica does decently, but doesn't take out all the trash. Being able to get rid of your opponent's extra deck is crazy good, but that's the only thing the deck's good at. I do think that there's a ton of potential for Dogmatica. Maybe it becomes an engine for another deck. We've seen how that worked out before. It could be really good in the future. Me saying Fur Hire is a budget Yu-Gi-Oh deck, easy. Me saying Fur Hire Runic is a budget Yu-Gi-Oh deck. Oh my raw. Becky, look at her butt. No, seriously, look at Donner's butt. But don't be weird about it, my guy. She's my woman. The Runic cards in budget have always had the same relationship as you and your ex-girlfriend. Sometimes you're together, sometimes you're apart, sometimes you're just seeing other people. And by you, I mean her. And by her, I mean more money. Right now, the Runic cards are decently cheap, and there is a reprint on the horizon. There is a new Runic monster in Sleipnir that makes the deck a little bit better, but if you're getting what I'm saying, Sleipnir, your ex slept with somebody else, my guy, move on. Right now, with the inevitable Runic reprints, these cards are ultra cheap, and this deck is really, really good right now. On the flip side, I would say that Drytron is our first strategy that takes a really good pilot. The new support is, it's there. It solves none of the Drytron's problems, but it does give you guys another chunky monster to use to search the spell cards that you don't necessarily need to search. Master Duel players, Evil Eye is experimental. She's just a little bit too fair, though an Evil Eye Unchained build may be a little better, but you might just be better off playing Unchained. Unlike Evil Eye, Evil's actually got direct support from the set, and this deck is also experimental. I'm gonna make a very bold take, and some people may not like this, but this might be the best version of Dinos. The Evils are naturally reptiles and dinos, so double evolution pill targets are there. And then there's also some evil combo lines that could potentially help the consistency of dinos, but it does come at the price of more interesting hand situations. Holy crap, she made chicken too? And just before you say something racist, it's not fried. It's baked. Exosister at this point is the Floodgate special, but to be honest with you, I don't think that Exosister is better than Altergeist as a Floodgate deck. Think about it. Altergeist can actually play Secret Village of Spellcasters since the deck is entirely Spellcasters. Exosisters have a hard time because the Xseed monsters are warrior. Altergeist may struggle playing Gozen match, but Rider of the Warlords is just as powerful against some of the other top tier decks where Exosister would be weak against. I'd have to say though, anytime the stepsisters are in charge, we live in a good time. Hey stepsis, I still love you.
In developing news, a man is behind bars after the El Paso County Sheriff's Office says that he was wanted for family violence charges.
Fluandreese, oh yeah, great. The other budget Floodgate Yu-Gi-Oh deck, yay, fun. It's still one of the best budget decks in the game. Unlike Master Duel, Fluandreese still has everything that it needs to be able to lock you outside of the barrier statue. This deck didn't get any support inside of the set directly, but players still special summon in the attack position. I still think that Gold Pride is one of the best budget decks in the entire game. This deck is crazy good and extremely cheap, and with more money, it gets way more powerful. Plus, my guy, you're gonna be high rolling bowling very soon. I like how in Yu-Gi-Oh right now, you can play a ton of great budget Yu-Gi-Oh decks. Heroes are still another one of those decks that you could play to great success. It seems like with every new hero card that comes out, Heroes just find some crazy way to play it. They play more bricks and get stronger. It's the only deck to do that. I mean, I guess when you're Batman and you can beat up a security guard for doing his job, break his leg, and then charge him because you own the hospital, That's some good hero. Infernoble on the surface may seem like an expensive Yu-Gi-Oh deck, but when you actually break down, it's a really cheap competitive Yu-Gi-Oh deck. Almost every single one of the expensive Yu-Gi-Oh cards has a lower rarity reprint, and it's also a very rewarding and fun combo deck. I would say that certain hand traps like Ash, Imperm, and Nibiru would really shine here, but the problem is hand traps in totality aren't extremely powerful. With that being said, that does take a lot away from both Marine Test and Mathmech. I do think that there's solid Yu-Gi-Oh decks that take a great pilot to be able to win some maximum games. Not bad Yu-Gi-Oh decks at all. One card combos are still crazy. Just like how I'm a finished one card combo in this mac and cheese, my guy. Most people don't know that Makonko is not only a cheap deck, it's ridiculously powerful. With Pearlies coming back into the game and making big chunkus unaffected monsters, you can just kaiju them then OTK them. You ain't gotta worry about them getting cards back. This same thing can apply to so many other decks that want to make these huge, intrusive, ridiculously powerful boards. Makonko don't care about none of that. Just give you a kaiju and a lava golem and keep playing. Monarchs, my boy, where have you been? Monarchs unfortunately got a new card that allows you to tribute your opponent's monster as long as you're tributing a tribute summon monster. Then if you tributed a tribute summon monster, you can gain both of the effects of Caius and Thessalos. Well, gosh darn it, sign me up, buddy! If this was like 2006, my guy! The only monarchy that would exist right here is King Kali, my friend. Monarchs in themselves? No. Nimlaria actually got some pretty good support from Duelist Nexus, giving you more level 10 monsters to be able to search with your spell card. This deck is typically played with Grin Maju, and I think it's a really, really good budget deck. I mean, considering that the entire deck is maybe like $50 maximum, it's really, really good in that aspect. The only unfortunate thing is that I don't think that you can put more money into it to make it that much more stronger. And on top of that, it does take a person that knows what they're doing to play it correctly. I really don't even know why we're talking about Rika here. This is an oh my raw type deck. In my meta tier list, I had it ridiculously high because you contribute your opponent's monsters. Crazy how that works right now. Sky Striker, I would 100% takes a really good pilot right now. It's a cheap, good Yu-Gi-Oh deck, but you're really gonna have to separate yourselves for the guys that say Ray is Bay and actually mean it. She's 13 and you're 34, my guy. You know what I'm talking about if you've seen the shorts. Super heavy samurai, the big chunky boys. I think that players should still experiment with this deck. I don't think it'll go anywhere, but it may need an extra kick. Somebody to figure out the ultimate combo that separates it from the other combo decks. What's crazy about Super Heavy Samurai is that it does not stop getting support between Earth cards, Machine cards, Synchro monsters. It gets crazy. Sword Soul, on the other hand, we kind of got left in the dust. Listen here, my Sword Soul Copium friends. I believe you. You went undefeated in your tournament. Good job. On a grand scheme of things, we know a few things. Hand traps in their entirety aren't as powerful, so we can't just fake our opponent's hand traps with Sword Soul cards. Nibiru is incredibly powerful. We don't like that. Both of those are a genuine hindrance to Sword Soul, but I will give you this. A good Sword Soul player is a good Sword Soul player. My guy, I was showing your girls the way of the swords, and I'm gonna tell you, it's a reason why that kid don't look like you, my guy. No, I'm just playing. Nah, I'm just playing, my guy. That kid is yours. Don't try to put me on child support. Tier limit 100% takes a really good pilot. This deck went from overbearing to actually people cheer people that play this deck now. It's kind of weird. I actually think that this deck could be a little bit more powerful if more players put time into the deck, but it does require a big brain, so understandable. Tistina is actually crazy good. It's so much better than Gold Pride. Konami, what the fuck were you thinking? Nah, but in all fairness, it just came out, and just like Gold Pride, it needs another wave of support or probably even a deck to latch onto it right now to make it really good. I would put Trap Tricks in the exact same category as Dark World. It got one new support that actually helps out a ton. Wipeout Trap Hole, being able to get rid of cards like Pearlies are really good. And overall, it's a solid budget Yu-Gi-Oh deck that you can buy with 3 structure decks, upgrade the extra deck, and do a lot better than what people will give it credit. A lot of players have been saying Unchained is not budget, my guy. Are you ridiculous? The card prices are falling. Chill out. This deck's still good and it's still budget. Now, it's not $100 type budget anymore, but it's still a very fun and powerful deck, and the new cards are insanely good. Your Sarctic goes back to your Arctic. Bro, don't do it. Do not build this deck. I never knew that backward synchro summoning ever existed until this deck came out. They did terrible with it. And lastly, Vanquish Soul, which ironically dropped in price by a ton. While I wouldn't say that this deck is necessarily $100 budget, it's fairly budget. We know it gets more support and it's had multiple tops. And I would also like to apologize for not putting it on my meta tier list. I think it's a really good deck. Right now, I would say it's one of the better budget Yu-Gi-Oh decks. Customizable, upgradable, and is getting more support. This deck has the trifecta right now. And that's all that I have for my budget tier list, my guys. Of course, if you love these type of videos, you already know what to do, my boy. We trying to get the 200,000 subscribers. But until then, make sure you check out some of these other videos. I know that they're phenomenal, just like you are. And I'll catch you on the next one.